Hello there. Today we'll be talking about language learning once more. A lot of people think that learning a new language has to be really, really expensive. It's something you have to spend a lot of money on. Now today I'm going to discuss why that isn't the case. You can indeed learn a language very well for free. You don't have to spend a penny. I'm not joking here, it's true. So how do you do that? Well, I think the thing you have to realize is there is no wrong way to learn a language, right? There's no specific order you have to do things in, and you don't need to be particularly structured about what you do in which order. That's a common misconception, but no, that's not the case. The the really important thing is that you get lots of input and that you do it every day. If you do that, well, you can't really go wrong. You'll get there in the end. Consistency is key. Do it every day for at least an hour for a while, and then you'll get there, right? If you absorb the language, you listen to stuff, you read stuff, there we go. Now, I do think looking at grammar is worthwhile as well, but you don't really have to worry about grammar when you're just starting out. How can you do that for free? Well, the thing you have to realize is there are so many resources out there. You have lots of stuff for native speakers and you have lots of stuff for language learners. On YouTube, for example, YouTube's a great resource. Now, if you want to learn a language with YouTube, there are three very, very important types of channels you want to find. So, first of all, you want to find stuff made for native speakers about interesting things that you like. So if you like history, you want to find a channel about history for native speakers. The second type of channel is a channel, what I would call Comprehensible Input, made for learners. So I'm talking about videos made in the target language and more or less only in the target language, but they speak a bit slower and the words they use aren't as complicated. An example of a channel like this would be Learn Russian with Max or Mandarin Corner. Both are absolutely excellent and you should check them out. Learn Russian with Max is great for Russian, Mandarin Corner is great for Mandarin. Or Easy Languages is another good one. They have videos in all sorts of languages, so you really can't go wrong with them. And yeah, they're very entertaining, good videos about the country and culture in which the language you're learning is spoken, and it's a bit easier than the stuff made for native speakers, but they're still not too easy, right? So you'll still be hearing the language being spoken in a rather natural way. And then the last type is, of course, channels that explain grammar. They aren't quite as useful. I don't think you should spend as much time with them because, again, grammar is something you can pick up naturally, and it's not something you have to be too structured about. It's important to learn the grammar, absolutely, but you shouldn't cram it. You should just let it come sort of slowly over time. You can find grammar guides online as well for free. Just Google the language you're learning and then grammar. So Google French grammar, Russian grammar, German grammar, Chinese grammar, Swedish grammar, Arabic grammar, Polish grammar, and Spanish grammar. And you'll find lots of articles about the grammar. So it's not something, and quizzes as well, and tests and stuff like that. You do that absolutely for free. So it's not something you have to worry about. You can just find it like that, and you spend some time with it. It's quite useful. You don't need to buy a book to learn the grammar, right? And the best thing about online grammar guides is the fact that you can pick and choose. So if you like the way one guide explains the cases, well, you can stick to that for the cases. If you like the way another guide explains the irregular verbs, well, you can go to that for that, and you don't have to spend money on it. So that's excellent. Now, it's worth mentioning that there's nothing wrong with spending money on learning a foreign language. It's something you can do. I'm not saying you should never ever spend money on a foreign language. I'm just saying it's not something you have to do. It's not necessary. It might be a good idea sometimes, right? But if you don't want to spend money on a foreign language, you don't have to. You can, technically speaking, learn a language for free, and I have done so in the past. I've not spent a single penny on French, for example. Now, French isn't my best language. I'll give you that, but I've never spent any money on it. Same with German, actually. German is one of my better languages, and I've never ever spent any money on German. Another important resource is Wikipedia. You can find lots of great Wikipedia articles on Wikipedia, and if you download the Google Translate plugin or add-on, Google Translate extension for Google Chrome, you will be able to look up words really quickly. And Google Translate is another good tool. It's a good sort of free dictionary. It's not always that accurate, but it's pretty good. It's free, and you can make lots of lovely lists of words you don't know. And again, I don't think you should cram too much stuff into your head. So let the words come to you naturally. I think that's the best way of doing it. But you can use Google Translate as a sort of, it is nice to write down words sometimes and have a list of words you don't know. Some people like that. Google Translate is good for that because you can find all the words you didn't understand in context, and you can just sort of look them up. And you have a long list open in some other tab, and you can just sort of go click on it whenever, right? Some people find that useful. Movies are another useful tool. You can find lots of movies on YouTube for free. It depends on the language you're learning, of course, but there are lots of movies on YouTube. You just have to look. You just have to know what you're looking for, especially older movies. You don't mind watching something that's a good 30 years old. If it's like a good, if most sort of Soviet movies or whatever, they're on YouTube. And you can find lots of old German movies, lots of old French movies, lots of old Chinese movies for that matter on YouTube, lots of old Swedish movies, what do I know, Danish movies, whatever. You can even find a few movies in Esperanto on YouTube. So you just have to know what to look for. So YouTube is a great resource for finding movies. Netflix is good as well. If you have Netflix already, you might consider installing VPN as well, because that allows you to access even more content. There's an extension for Google Chrome called Learn Language Netflix. You can check that out. And there's one called Learn Language with YouTube as well. That might be worth checking out as well. I don't really like Netflix that much, but they have some stuff, some different languages. And if you already have a Netflix subscription, you can, might as well check that out, right? Now, just remember, consistency is key. Do it every day, and you can't really go wrong. If you want to find people to practice the language with, you can do so online. Or if you live in a larger city, there will be language cafes you can attend, and they are sometimes quite useful. I've attended a few in the past. Omegle is a good source. You can find people from all over the world there, and you can add them on Discord or Skype or whatever. And there you go. You now have some new people to practice languages with. So what I'm trying to say is, if you think about it a bit, if you're a bit creative, it doesn't have to cost anything. Again, there's nothing wrong with spending money on learning a new language. Might work sometimes, but if you don't want to, you don't have to. A lot of people think you have to attend an expensive language course to learn a language. That is not the case. You can learn language for free, and that is often one of the better ways of doing it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. If you did, please subscribe. I'll be back for another video quite soon. Have a good one.